good afternoon, good morning, and depending where you're at, good evening. Today being July the 6th, I've been thinking about something lately, especially the conversations that I have had with people who's been telling me the same things, is that they don't know what's happening, but something in my life doesn't fit anymore. And I understand that, because I have experienced seasons like that too. This year was another big season. And this morning, um, some of you may have seen, I've just celebrated my birthday a few days ago. Things have changed again. Even my thoughts, even what was my heart is asking of me to do. And noticing in other places the conversations that people are wanting to have, they just don't know where to start, as well as what other spiritual coaches are sharing, um, other teachers are sharing, tarots are showing, horoscope, whichever way you want to, from wherever places you receive your information from. There has been a common denominator. It's about that people don't know what's happening. However, they can feel that the old self does not fit their current life. And the way that they have been living, it's no longer working. And I wonder if we are sometimes looking for answers in the wrong place. We look for another book, we look for another podcast, for another teacher, another video. And so one more piece of information would suddenly make anything clear. Look, I do that. Sometimes it works. However, where I'm finding right now, it's not seem to be working at this present moment. And what I am being guided more and more and more is to sit with myself. And the most important changes have started to happen for me is the most, as well as meaningful changes in my life, is when I started to sit with myself with more honesty. You probably have heard you can only grow to the level of honesty you're willing to acknowledge, speak, witness within your own life. The biggest lessons I'm learning, continue to witness and share as well, is that look at your life with more honesty, however, no shame, no guilt, and not trying to fix yourself, with just honesty, pure honesty, and that's it. Nothing else. If you are able to allocate the time and sit with your own life quietly. For myself, I shared, if you listen to my previous videos, and I started to honor more and more and more, is to take myself to the beach without my phone and sit there for 2 hours and literally talk. It's like, is it time to go? No, sit and just stay. So what I'm trying to share here is to then sit with yourself and ask yourself with full honesty, where am I really? Before you get to where I want to be, where am I really? Where do I think I am in my own life? And it's not putting a filter of how it's supposed to be. Look at it how it is. That saying, I'm not a fan of that saying, it is what it is. However, look at it if you are open to it. Look at your life right here, right now, where it is, and start and see it clearly. Not because honesty magically fixes everything, but because only you can change what you're willing to see. So give yourself that time. whichever way you look at express your creativity, either you go for a walk. I like to go for a walk and talk to myself. I like to put on music and then record it, take voice notes. I like to do that. Or sit quietly with a cup of coffee. Whichever way you do it, dance it. Sit and look at your life, at your relationship with yourself. Do you honor everything that you tell yourself you are going to do? Do you go to bed on time that you've made a promise to do? Do you wake up at the time you promised yourself you're going to do? Do you consume only what you know makes you feel good? Do you listen to your body when it tells you it's time to go for a walk or it's time to rest? Do you listen to your heart? Do you honor that relationship with yourself first? And then extend that to every area of your life. If you are in a relationship, does that honor you? Do you honor your partner? Do you express exactly what you need to say? If you don't know how, are you teaching yourself how to express? And then extend it further then to if you have children, if you have friends, if you have community, do you honor your commitments or do you overextend yourself? Your work, your money, your body, your mind. Give yourself this space to look at the promises that you have made, the promises you have broken. Reminder again, no shame, no guilt. It doesn't do anything except like see it as a glue, like gooey things just keeps you there. What I found for myself, the more honest I was willing to look at things. Again, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It's discomfortable, right? However, that's what it is. And then a solution is always there. With that, what I found for myself, able to see a solution, not from a place of panic or fear, from a place of, okay, this is where I am right here, right now. This is what I did. This is how my life looks like. Once you're able to look at that from this place without judgment, without shame, then you could take to the next step and go, okay, so how is it that I would like to look like? Once you give yourself the space to do that, then you go to the next step. Then what do I need to do? What steps do I need to take to close the gap between where I am and where I desire to be? So for myself, as I said again, is I no longer turn at where I am in my life is that I don't get up at 5 in the morning anymore. I do go to bed by 10:30 and I let my body wake up naturally. And I don't just rush off like I used to. I am honoring the pace that my body is asking, as well as the promise I have made. If that resonates, I remember telling myself before, I will rest when. It's like, but your body is tired now. It's like the car. You don't fill up the car whenever, you know, you decide if the fuel tank is empty, you have to fill it up, right? If you don't, then we know what happens then. You have to call roadside assistance, you have to call a friend or whoever to come and get your extra fuel. So it's honoring right there and then. You know how your body speaks to you. You know if you eating something that you've made a promise not to. What I love, one of my teachers has shared before, she goes, just sing it to yourself, like from Britney Spears' song, Oops, I Did It Again. It's turning the compassion towards yourself. The more you turn everything that you give to others, the understanding, the love, the compassion to yourself first, filling that cup first. I'm sure sound like a parrot by now because I need that reminder as well. I forget to remember, I remember to forget. A beautiful paradox of being human. However, without judgment, the whole purpose of all of this is to understand yourself. And that is the difference. Okay. What I continue to notice, and when I was in that area, is I was afraid to look honestly at my life. because honesty automatically leads to shame, but it doesn't have to. If you allow yourself to slow down and tell yourself that, shame has no place here because it doesn't change, it doesn't provide me solution, it keeps me stuck, and I no longer want to be there. Whichever way you like to talk to yourself, like Abraham Hicks rampages, where she goes, talk yourself very slow. It's all right. I am where I am. My inner being knows where it needs to be. I am going to look at my life with full honesty in all areas. I'm going to take ownership because at that moment, this is where I was. And because this is where I was, this is the consequences of my choices, of my behavior. And I am fully aware as an adult, I can do differently. I can do better. I am capable. And if I fall, how she says, over the happy disc, I can get up again. I can start either in the next hour or I can start over tomorrow. I get to start over again. So continue talking to yourself with full softness, compassion, and gentleness. This is where I am. And I am no longer willing to pretend I am somewhere else. This is where I am. And it is all right where I am. I am learning. I am unlearning. Set yourself free. And if it also resonates, make the commitment to stop hurting yourself. If you have heard that saying, if you want to see the change in the world, you be that change. Honesty, please, honesty. No shame, no guilt. What is no longer working in my life? What do I need to do to make my life differently? What is no longer working? Even let's say exercises for me, right? My body is no longer actually asking for how I used to exercise or get in shape before. There is another difference, right? Where I am right now and what I desire my life to look like, it requires a very different version of me. I am now doing rebounding. And I actually get to, my daughter used to call it doof doof music. And I push myself and I have fun and I just dance. And honestly, I don't care how ridiculous I look because there I am, got headphones on, and I'm on the rebounder and just a squeaking noise, squeak, 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 and I'm there going, oh, but it's me, it's for me, it's for no one else. People will judge you no matter what. You gotta do what works for you. If going to the gym is one thing for you, then you go to the gym. If it is do exercise at home, then you do that for yourself. If it is no equipment, only you will know what you need. I like fasting. It works for me. Only coffee in the morning. That works for me. I am coming from a sporting background and I love to go in the water. I love to hike. I've slowed down this summer at this moment. But my recovery is much better. I can go longer. I love sunsets. I love sunrises. At this moment, I'm not getting up at 5 in the morning, but sunset is at 9:30. So I will go and enjoy my sunset. And if I have someone, so right now my daughter is back home for summer, she doesn't want to go right now. She's in the age where she just wants to stay at home. It's like, well, I'm not gonna wait for you. The invitation is there. I want you to want it for yourself to spend time with me. I love you, but I am going to go. And do that. We're all going to have people in our lives that will not join us on the things that we want to do. And again, like what I found is that it's okay to have different friends for different hobbies, as well as we have this attachment to history. Oh, but I known this friend for so many years, that and you've changed. It is okay to leave the table where love is no longer served. It is absolutely okay. If you had a chance to read my book, you would know that the most loving thing I could do for myself, my life, and my parents is to walk away. There was what I needed, they are not able to provide for me. And what they needed from me, I'm not able to provide for them. And it is okay. And my daughter is fully aware. I said, look, I am doing my best to make sure that I create a relationship with you, and I continue to face my own, I call it fuckery, face my own shadow, whichever way you want to call it. Look at my patterns. It doesn't mean I am not going to stuff it up. However, am I willing to stay and repair? Am I willing to take ownership and responsibility and then show change behavior? Anyways, so I don't want to go off the main thing that I wanted to share with you today about honesty. And so actually, let me go on point. Yes. So I take to honesty and I said, I'm very much aware there's going to come a time where you would want to leave the house. You need to do this. You need to go and explore your world to find out who you are without being my daughter. Who you are, the name that you have, the how you look at the world. What is it that you believe? How do you express yourself? I've given you as much as I can. However, know that my door is always open and show up in that way. Honor those words, honor those commitments. And yes, my friendships, some friendships have broken up because we are no longer sharing the same values. Old version of me looked at it, oh my God. Yes, I've given myself a space to be in pain. And then I went, okay, actually, in all honesty, it needed to be. I refused to honor myself and say this friendship actually doesn't work for me. And just because we have history, or just because we speak the same language, or just because we have some similarities, or someone something, it doesn't mean we have to force each other to be in each other's lives. And when you do that with honesty, and even some in your lives where you're gonna go, where you're gonna find yourself go, actually, this friendship no longer works for me, and I'm gonna go honestly and speak to them. Imagine when you break up with full compassion and understanding. You're not gonna hate each other. Clean energy, contract broken, right? It's like you actually have that as a sovereign being. I don't even know if the right words are the right. You have that choice. You don't go and drink coffee if you hate coffee. No, you don't go and drink, what you don't want to drink, or if what you don't want to eat. Well, sometimes I did. But the more you're going to recognize your own sovereignty self, the way you speak, your habits, the way you actually the way you think, the way you treat yourself, and start taking back your power and start honoring your life, you will notice that your life will change. It will start making more sense for you. It's that inner spark will start coming back. The way I see that, it's like that little kid will start skipping again. And the big question that I like to ask is, what kind of life do I want to begin participating in now? I am not going to say what kind of life do I wish I had. I've given myself that space. If you need that, give yourself that space. Where I am now, I am asking myself a different question. What kind of life I am willing to participate in? Because those are the very different questions, right? Participation, it asks something of us. It asks us to make different choices. And maybe that means finally telling the truth. Maybe it is finally saying no. Maybe it means resting. Maybe it means apologizing. Maybe it means staying or living. However, only you can answer that. Because whatever the answer is, let it come from honesty, not fear, not guilt, honesty. Not because someone else told you who you should become. Because you've spent enough time with yourself to know what your own heart has been trying to say. And that's something no one else can do for you. And maybe that's the invitation I would like to leave you with. Not to change your whole life today, just to begin an honest conversation with yourself without defending, without performing, and most importantly, without attacking yourself. Because for myself, what I found is that every meaningful change in my life, it began there with honesty. And on this note, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.